Noelani, Vaughn, and I are here too. Good evening. We're sorry to bother you so late. You spoke up to say hello to... No, I'm gonna say hello too. Hi, Mr. Holden. The gang's all here, huh? Is something the matter? His voice grew a bit concerned. Mommy was quick to reassure him. No, well, yes, but it's going to be okay. Lizzie and Cove got into a bit of a fight today. We were hoping that the two of them could talk and make up. Is this a good time for you and Cove?
What?
A fight? Cove didn't tell me anything about that when I came home. It does explain the funk he's been in tonight. He chuckled lightly. Despite that, it didn't seem like he really thought it was funny. Anyway, it's good you didn't catch us at a bad time. I'll go grab him for you. There was some shuffling on the other end. He must not have gone far because you could still hear him calling out. Cove, there's someone on the phone for you. After a beat of silence, there was more muffled talking from Cove's dad. Come on, bud. Lizzie called just so she could talk to you. Vaughn's on the other end listening too. Don't you want to say hi? It took a bit of back and forth, though the conversation seemed one-sided since you couldn't hear Cove properly. I mean, I pretty much figured he would have had no interest in talking to Lizzie. Eventually, Cove took the phone from his dad.
Hi.
Hello? Hey, it's Lizzie. Yeah, I know. Dad told me. Cove's tone was defensive. Rightfully so. Lizzie turned to Mom, scowling. One stern look from her, though, and Lizzie turned away.
Sorry.
I just called to say I'm sorry for not playing nice with you today. I won't do it again. I'm gonna hold her to that. I'm really gonna hold her to that. Lizzie's eyes were downcast, her voice low. You could tell she felt uncomfortable apologizing to Cove in front of everyone. She was still being genuine about feeling bad. Cove must have realized that too, because he sighed quietly. She was still being genuine. I'm hoping for Lizzie's sake that she's being genuine when she's saying sorry. Me and Vaughn should get gold too. That's right, Lizzie had kept denying you two what you deserved. Lizzie was momentarily stunned silent by the demand. She probably forgot that it had even happened already. All right, we all win the gold. Okay, I guess I'm sorry too. A sense of relief washed over everyone at as his acceptance of the apology. I hope this is a building block. I hope this is something that will affect the relationship in the future, which only validates to me that I made the right decision, you know? Like, people are saying, I grew up thinking, snitches get stitches. For me, it depends. Like, a tattletale typically is not the greatest thing in the world, but I think what matters is why you tattle on someone. Like, are you tattling on someone because you genuinely want them to get in trouble? Or you genuinely are like, oh, they deserve it, so I'm going to tattle it. A lot of it is based on the reason behind it. If the reason why you're tattling is because, you're trying to make a horrible situation better, either for any party, really. If you believe that it is, the most optimal thing, if it'll, help a situation, that should be the reason behind tattletaling, I guess. But if the reason is selfish, if the reason is more because, you want to get revenge or whatever, or you just want to see someone taken down a notch, then tattling is not really the greatest thing in the world. Mom uncrossed her arms while Mommy's shoulders relaxed. Lily's eyebrows raised up. You wondered if she thought that he'd refuse her apology. Dad, can I get off the phone now? You couldn't see him, but it was obvious that Cove felt awkward about the situation. He had come off uncomfortable the entire time, really. Yeah, you can go back to your room if you want. Be sure to say goodbye first, though. Bye, Lizzie. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Vaughn. You perked up at the mention of your name. You smiled even if you couldn't see it. One thing I'm disappointed so far is that there are several places where the voice actor could have said my name, but he didn't. He just said bye, but didn't say Vaughn. I think I've heard him say my name once throughout this entire stage. Maybe twice at most, but I only remember him ever saying Vaughn once, which I feel like he should be saying it way more often by this point, in order for it to actually feel like it's an actual thing. You perked up at the mention of your name. Bye, Cove. With that, Cove must have handed the phone to his dad and left since Mr. Holden spoke up. All's well that ends well, as they say. Thanks for arranging this. I'm sure he appreciates it. As Mom replied, Lizzie tugged on Mommy's hand to catch her attention. Can I go now, too?
Good job.
Sure, sweetie. Thank you very much for apologizing to Cove. Yeah, I mean, credit where credit is due. Lizzie, I know that was tough. I know that really sucked and was super hard, but I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. This is a huge step for you. So thank you for doing that. Because I think you are doing yourself a huge favor. You are doing something right by yourself by going through with this. Mom flashed a brief smile at Lizzie and nodded her agreement. Given permission to leave, Lizzie scurried off towards the stairs. She seemed to be feeling much better with the incident behind her. Mom and Mommy returned to the phone, taking it off the speaker. They continued talking to Mr. Holden. You couldn't tell what about. You were glad that was the end of it all. Lizzie and Cove might not get along, and probably still won't, but they weren't mad at each other anymore. Mom and Mommy weren't upset either. Everything was finally back to normal. With that thought, you retreated to your own room with a spring in your step. Nice. I really like that one. That one is a nice one. Let's do long day. It was another scorching summer day, the kind where no sooner had you finished one cup of water, you were already filling it up again. Everyone else had something on, so that afternoon it was just you and Shiloh. Yay, this is the Shiloh one, yay! This didn't happen much, especially since Cole had arrived. Without Lizzie around, Shiloh looked to you for all the answers. It made you feel pleased. Yeah, I like Shiloh a lot. I want to make sure that I establish a good friendship with him, so hopefully that we're still like really cool buds in the future. Or more. Who knows? I would love to, at minimum, be his BFF. Like, if I am destined to be with Cove, I at least want to be like as good BFFs as Shiloh as I can. Pleased. You might not be in double digits like your sister, but he was only 7. Oh, he actually is younger than all of us. I figured he was, but I didn't want to assume. I thought he would be closer to my sister's age. He was only 7. Being the oldest and getting to be the leader was a nice change of pace. You drained yet another drink and frowned at the empty vessel. Your thirst was gone, but you still craved something icy cold and refreshing. Something sweet. Something like a popsicle, an ice cream cone, an ice cream sandwich. When I was a kid, I liked ice cream cones more, so I'm gonna do ice cream cone. Nothing beat a classic creamy scoop of ice cream on a day like this. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that without needing to look. Your moms didn't keep sweets in the house. Outside, there were plenty of places where such goodies could be obtained, but they were shops and demanded payment in exchange for their products. You sighed. You voiced your predicament aloud. You asked Shiloh for help. I'll ask Shiloh for help. Shiloh, do you have any money? That's not what I meant. I didn't mean to, demand money from him. Oh, let me check. That was easy. You felt like you should tell him why you were asking. Thanks. I want an ice cream cone, but my mom don't keep any here. Well, I didn't want to use his money for ice cream. That's not why I asked him for help. Goodness. Shiloh rummaged in his backpack and proudly produced an assortment of coins, plus one stray button. We better be given an option to share our ice cream with him, because if he's paying for it, I'm not going to eat it myself. You set the button aside and counted the coins in neat piles. Just over $1. You and nicest to Shiloh. He had almost certainly come. I am not going to ask a younger child than me for money. He had almost certainly come to the same conclusion, but he'd been watching you expectantly. It's not enough. It's a start. Shiloh beamed at you. We'll need to find some more. Okay. Do I have a piggy bank? Hopefully I have a pig. Oh wait, I still have my $20 bill. What are you talking about, Vaughn? You still have that $20 bill that you supposedly said that you're still hiding in your room. The two of you lifted couch cushions. Look, dude, $20. We have $20. Why are we going through couch cushions? Does that $20 bill really need to stay in your room this whole time? Unless it gives him some sentimental value. That could be kind of cute if he kept the $20, never spent it, and then showed it to Cove later and was like, yeah, I mean, your dad bribed me, but I never actually spent it on anything, and I decided to keep it because it's sentimental value. The two of you lifted couch cushions, stuck tiny hands down deep crevices in the sofa and under furniture, and scoured the back of drawers. Most of what you found was useless or gross. Bent paper clips, fluffy wisps of dust, or sandy crumbs, but every so often you would strike silver or bronze and add it to the growing pile of coins. Your mind wandered to the $20 bill tucked away in your room. Okay, finally! It was enough for you and Shiloh to get whatever you wanted and more, but you didn't take it out. That was too special to hand over so freely. Oh, okay. That's the game's reason for you to not spend your money. It was too special. Alright. Besides, Shiloh would be curious about where it came from and might even mention your wealth to Lizzie. The exchange had been a secret. Yeah, $20 bills for an 8-year-old? That's a lot of moolah. That's a lot of moolah. Dusty and disheveled from checking every room and squinting into every tiny nook, the two of you finished pooling your finds. Shiloh held his breath as you counted the coins once again. $2.53, and 2 buttons. You didn't know when the second button had decided to join the party, but you were too pleased with your successful haul to throw it out. Is that enough? You figured he knew the answer, but you appreciated him recognizing your authority on financial and ice cream matters. You straightened up before making your pronouncement. Yeah, we've got enough. You could now afford something at the shops, just one thing, but that was infinitely better than none. Shiloh clapped his hands. Yay! Okay, we definitely need to share this with Shiloh, because he went through the whole trouble of not only giving us his money, but also going through the couch cushions with me. No, he deserves some of this. The two of you dashed outside. The promise of sugar buoyed you onto your destination where, breathless but happy, you stared at the overwhelming number of options. You knew what you wanted, but it wasn't just you who had contributed the funds to get the treat. He seemed to notice your pause. Aren't you getting an ice cream cone? Shiloh asked as though he was entirely separate from the decision, rather than someone with a stake in the outcome. No, do you mind? Shiloh cocked his head to the side. It was your idea, you should choose. Yeah, but this is your money, mostly. You went ahead and got what you wanted originally. Are you sure it's okay? You went ahead and got what you wanted originally. Are you really sure it's okay? No, I'm gonna try to get something we both wanted anyway. You tried to get something you both wanted anyway. It wasn't fair for you to be the only one to decide when he'd been a main factor in making this happen. Exactly. Some of the money came directly from his backpack, and I didn't contribute any money for my own backpack. All the money we got was from the couch cushions, and that doesn't really count. What do you like? All of them? They're so good. You pressed further. But what do you really like? Popsicles or ice creams? Which is your favorite? Oh, it's so hard to pick. I don't know. Frustrated, you cut to the heart of the matter. You want me to choose? Yeah. And that was that. You got the dessert you wanted originally and hoped Shiloh would actually like it too. Finally, the reward for all your hard work was in your hands. You lapped at the soft ice cream. The sweetness perked you up. You held it out to Shiloh so he could take a turn. He shook his head.
You can finish it.
No. That's not how this works, buddy. He didn't want any? After everything he did to help get it? That was weird. Because Shiloh is such a precious cinnamon bun who must be protected at all costs. But you accepted the offer. You tried to include Shiloh. You hesitated. No. You tried to include Shiloh. Even if Shiloh said it was okay, every story you'd ever seen on TV or read in a book said that sharing was caring. You stood your ground, even as the treat started to trickle dangerously towards your fingers. It's only fair that you have some. We both bought it. But you want it more than I do, and getting to play was a lot of fun already, so you can have it. That's more fair. You held it out to him. No, I'm being insistent. Shiloh, get your mouth into this ice cream and take a bite. I want you to have some even more than I want to finish it. So eat your part. Don't argue with me, Shiloh. You're not going to win this. Relenting, Shiloh took the treat and gave it a taste. His eyes lit up.
Thank you.
It's really good. Thank you. Can I hug him now? I got to hug Cove. Can I please hug Shiloh? He's so precious. You smiled, pleased with your good deed. You picked the best one. They didn't even ask me what I wanted, but okay. Did he mean that? Shiloh was always nice no matter what happened, even if he hated it. You knew he wouldn't say so. So my favorite ice cream, believe it or not, so my fondest memories, um, when I was a kid was one, going to Dunkin' Donuts. If I had a choice between donuts and ice cream and pretzels and all that good stuff, it would be donuts. I love donuts because there's just something about them. They just like ice cream, they come in numerous flavors, but they don't melt, and I kind of like that they don't melt. However, I also loved going to the ice cream parlor, and we always went to Baskin Robbins. Baskin Robbins was like the ice cream parlor. That was before Cold Stone. There was no Cold Stone. There weren't a lot of these other like specialty. I don't think there was even frozen yogurt. I don't even think frozen yogurt shops was really a thing back when I was a kid. That's how old I am, everybody. My favorite flavor, believe it or not, as a kid, was daiquiri ice. And I didn't realize that daiquiri ice, was basically based off of an alcoholic beverage, I guess. So I guess daiquiris are technically mock versions of alcoholic beverages. So yeah, daiquiri ice was the bomb from Baskin Robbins. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. My second favorite ice cream was rainbow sherbet. I enjoyed sherbets, I think, way more than traditional ice cream. Probably because I liked fruity things. So, yeah. Rainbow sherbet, fruity things. Even back then, it was kind of obvious, I know. But anyway, back to business. Back to the adorable preciousness that is Shiloh. Did he mean that? Shiloh was always nice, no matter what happened. Except for the one time where he just totally, blew a gasket and blew up on Cove, which I think is cool to be able to see Shiloh be different from his default once in a while. I think it's very human of him. It shows that he's not a one-note character, which I like. Even if he hated it, you knew he wouldn't say so. Maybe he thought it was gross, and that's the real reason why he didn't want to take some. You had no idea. You studied him as he ate a little more. He had every appearance of enjoying himself. Still weird. The two of you began to head back home as he ate. You walked side by side on the shore in silence, but your thoughts kept drifting to the boy beside you. Why didn't he speak up for himself? It was almost as if Shiloh didn't know how to say what he felt, or was too afraid to. I mean, he's the youngest of us. He's the youngest person in the group, so they tend to be shyer, I think. You figured that was his problem and didn't care. No. Are you scared of me? You thought that was kind of sad. Are we friends? I'm gonna ask him that. Shiloh, are we friends? Shiloh opened his eyes wide, seemingly caught off guard by the blunt question. Yeah, I think so. He says that, but friends should be able to talk to each other without being scared. If Shiloh wouldn't do that, were you even really friends at all? He rubbed his hands together nervously over your non-reaction.
I'm sorry.
Shiloh, you weren't sure how sorry he could be without knowing what he's even apologizing for, but you shook your head. You didn't do anything. It was true. Shiloh hadn't done something mean. He'd gone out of his way to make you happy. That didn't seem like it should be a bad thing, yet it bothered you. I just don't know if you like me. It's like it doesn't matter what I do, you're gonna act the same. I could be anybody and you wouldn't care. No, I like you. I really like you, Vaughn. I want to be friends. Okay. You smiled hesitantly at him, and his fidgeting ceased. Even though you weren't sure if you believed him, this was only making things worse. You decided that maybe there were all types of friends. If Shiloh wasn't able to do things differently, this would have to be alright. Shiloh made you unsure about setting a label on the experience of spending the afternoon with just him. There had been good times, and there had been confusing ones. You were positive of one thing, at least. The treat was delicious, and that was nice. The sun was low on the horizon as you returned to your neighborhood. There you spotted two very familiar figures up ahead, Lizzie and Cove. You opened your mouth to make your presence known to them just as you saw the tears on Cove's face. Oh gosh, Lizzie, did you do something again? Didn't you just make up with this boy? You walked straight over, Shiloh at your heels. Once there, you defended Cove, took a moment to make a joke, accused Lizzie of causing trouble. I would ask what happened. I'm not going to jump into conclusions. Carefully ask about what happened. Without a time machine, the only way we're going to find out was by asking the witnesses. Lizzie might have done something, but she could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, or even come to Cove's aid. You wanted to hear the story. Cove, what happened?
On.
I got yelled at. Oh, okay, so he said my voice a second time, at least. That's good. I got yelled at. He took a deep, steadying breath. Some grandparents got mad at me. Oh, sorry. Lizzie jerked her head in the direction of a nearby house. Your heart sunk. You knew exactly what had happened. Every time the same mean old couple rented out that condo for the summer, you, Lizzie, and Shiloh knew to stay away from them, but Cove couldn't have. They're like that with everyone. Even your mom struggled to find anything nice to say about them, but the elderly pair particularly took offense to kids. It didn't matter if they were really nice like Cove. Yeah, Lizzie said. Lizzie drew herself up at that. She looked pointedly in her direction. Uh-huh. I was helping. That's cool. Is there anything I can do? No, I'm just gonna stay away. Or you could teach them a lesson. There was a devilish glint in her eyes. No wonder. That's gonna just make them hate kids even more. You're just gonna give them more ammunition. You're just gonna reinforce their hatred of children more. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. What? You should ding-dong ditch them. Go ring the doorbell and run. It'll be great because they're so slow. They'll never catch you. Yeah, no, that's not... No. No. Lizzie, no. That's dumb. I don't want to go near them ever again. You're saying that because you're a cluck-cluck chicken. No, we're saying that because we're not dumb and stupid, Lizzie. Cove glared, but didn't take the bait. Lizzie turned to you. You're not a chicken, are you? No, but I'm also not dumb. Yeah, cluck cluck. You'd rather just avoid them. You thought they deserved worse. I'll do it. Yeah, cluck cluck. You thought they deserved worse. I'll do it. You'd rather just avoid them. Because that's, that's probably the most optimal thing to do. If people, look, here's the thing. If there are people like that who, are really, really, like, off-put by kids and want to spend their time, if they want to waste their time, yelling at children, if that's how they want to waste their final years, before they leave the world, unfortunately, if that's how they want to spend it, being cranky at children, then, that's on them. But I'm not wasting my time on them. I've got better things to do with my time, like going out and eating. Like, why would I waste my time? Why would I give them, any of my time at all? Like, it just seems like, no, I got better things to do than that. They're not worth my time. Not worth my time. I'd rather just avoid them. You looked at the house. Behind those closed doors lurked two beings, rich in years but poor in patience. Maybe they deserved retaliation, maybe they didn't, but that punishment wouldn't be coming from you. It was safer to stay away from them, especially since Cove took their outbursts to heart. I'm not doing it either. Another chicken for the coop. This is a hen house now. Lizzie, I don't care what you think. You can think that I'm a chicken all you want. At the end of the day, you got no control over me. Okay? That's the important thing. You got zero control over me. And if you want to think of me as a chicken, doesn't bother me. I'm like, whatever. Whatever, Felicia. If we're chickens, you're a lizard, Lizzie. She wagged her tongue at his face. Still better than a bird brain. Chicken. I like chicken. I like chicken a lot. The condo door opened, revealing one of the two culprits. The old man's wizened face was set in a scowl, which was to say he looked exactly like he always did when you saw him. Maybe that was his normal face. What are you kids doing loitering outside my house? Or maybe he was just always in a terrible mood. Nothing. Nothing? He repeated the word as if it was the greatest crime anyone could commit. Nothing good, more like it. Get lost. It wasn't as if he owned the space outside of the house, but Cove's eyes, still red from his earlier tears, were wide, and you thought it would be best to heed the old man's command. Yeah, let's go, guys. Lizzie took off, with Shiloh immediately trailing after her without so much as a glance back in her direction. Oh, that hurts! Shiloh! After all we went through this afternoon, you couldn't even look back in my direction. All of a sudden, Lizzie's here, and I'm just, you know, I'm just basically like second slim pickings. I'm just slim pickings compared to Lizzie. That's okay. It's all right, Shiloh. When we're older, man, when we're older, I'm gonna steal you away from Lizzie, cause I want to be your friend, Shiloh. I want to be a better friend to you than Lizzie is to you. That's gonna be one of my goals. My goal is to try to be a better friend to Shiloh than Lizzie. We'll see how that goes. So much for your friendship. I know, right? So much for that. You waved your arm at Cove, summoning him to follow you, and ran after Lizzie. The old man's hollers propelled you all from the street to the sanctity of the hill. Only once you were safe did you notice the stitch in your chest and the ache of your legs. You flopped down, the blades of grass tickling your face. Lizzie, who had taken the lead in the end, was already lazing on the ground. The four of you took a moment to catch your breath and enjoy the feeling of cool grass against your skin.
Cove.
Hey, Cove! Cove lifted his head. I told you there were mean grandparents round here. Cove rolled his eyes, then decided this wasn't dismissive enough and rolled his whole body away from your sister. Lizzie chose to ignore his response and started chatting to Shiloh, who eagerly joined in the conversation. In the back of your mind, you knew you'd be second fiddle again to Shiloh once Lizzie came around. It always went like that. Well, I am going to fight that and try to change that as much as I can. We shall see. And it was fine, you thought. You felt a little sad after how much time you spent together today, and it was always annoying. I'm gonna say you still felt a little sad after how much time you spent together today. Yeah. You had been hoping the two of you might have become closer, but you had to let it go. He was happy where he was. There were other things to attend to anyway. Oh. Can't you see you belong with me? You belong with me. You wriggled closer to Cove. He had calmed down, for the most part, and was inspecting a flower. His fingers pinched the stem and tilted the white petals towards him. That's a poppy. Cove glanced at you in an acknowledgement, then back to the flower. And the type of poppies on this hill have the name white linen poppy. Mom told me. He squirked a smile. That's funny. He ran a finger around the edge of the petals. It doesn't feel like cloth. You'd need a lot of them to make anything. He nodded and released the delicate plant. Evaluation complete. This is my favorite kind of flower, but I didn't know what it was called. Thanks. It's mine too. Wow, there's a lot. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Type your own answer? That's interesting. Like, it's mine too. I like roses. Buttercups are really great. My favorite is snapdragons. Hibiscuses are the best. Peonies are pretty. I love sunflowers. I'd pick tulips. Orchids are the most special. Type your answer. I like flowers. I don't care about flowers. I only know what my mom tells me. So, like, I can type my own answer. My gut reaction is honeysuckle. As a kid, as an 8-year-old, I loved honeysuckle, mostly because you get to, like, you know, eat the honey out of the honeysuckle. Those are awesome. And I could type that in, but I kind of feel like choosing one of the default responses may give me more. So buttercups are probably my second favorite. So I'm gonna go with buttercups. Buttercups are really great. Yeah, those are nice too. They're bright and cute. You match with them. Oh, really, Cove? Thanks. Bright and cute I am. You moved onto your back with a small smile and looked at the darkening sky. The blanket of clouds reminded you of a thick throw you curled under on cold, rainy days. You wondered if the clouds would be as soft.